So I thought I'd start this one off for you guys with an excerpt from this book. So here is where I woke up and I was like, this is it. When there were no more stormtroopers in his immediate firing arc, he spared another glance for his surroundings. The artillery stations were in ruins. The walker had, unexpectedly, crossed the trench, and now stood on the south side. Something was attached to its leg, hanging like a piece of debris. Namir thought it was a scrap from the turret until he recognized the broken form of the woman who cheered for the transports, the woman who'd alerted Namir to the scouting party. She had one arm wrapped around the machine's ankle joint, her hand trapped in the gears. Her legs weren't moving, but somehow she was still alive. Her head was up, and Namir thought he saw her smile as she raised a grenade in her free hand. He wanted to call out to her as she disappeared in a fiery bloom, and the walker plummeted forward, but he didn't know her name. That is the kind of book this ends up being. Hey guys, Anthony here with Geek Domination, and if that didn't tell you, this is a book that I'm reviewing today. It's called Battlefront Twilight Company. Now, don't be confused by the name. Battlefront is just a moniker, really. While technically the book is loosely based off of the EA game that we've all played and mixed feelings on, this book really doesn't have anything to do other than that it's a company of people fighting on a battlefront. The connection's not there, so don't worry about that. Now, this book is really, really dark and gritty, and it's got some really, really interesting characters. First of which is Namir. He is a sergeant in the rebel Twilight Company, a company that literally goes and does the dirty, the really hard, terrible missions that the rebellion really doesn't want to send a ton of people for. They're the people that go in and get the job done where it needs doing. And he is the sergeant and largely the one that's in charge of keeping his squad alive. There's also a Gadrin. He's a four-armed alien known as a basilisk, and he's a really interesting character. Soft-spoken, but ferocious. There's also a character named Roach, a girl they picked up on one of the missions that they encounter. She's fiery, and all she wants to do is take out every single Imperial she can see. Another one is also Brand. Interesting character. She's an ex-bounty hunter that joins up with this rebellion tag team during a mission of some kind. Never quite explained. There's also Hal, Captain. He's the one that's in charge of making sure Twilight Company gets where they need to go, and he's also charged in keeping the heart of the company alive and what they fight for. And finally, rounding it out, big character, because the other ones I don't want to spoil for you, but I will. Chalice. She is a ex-Imperial, and she actually decided to switch allegiances during the campaign and the events of what goes on in the book. Now, I'm not going to lie. This book is a hard read. 166 pages. I was bored out of my mind. But that 166 page, that one that you heard me read an excerpt from before, that woke me up. Because this book is quite literally Band of Brothers for the Star Wars universe. And that's what makes this book so interesting and so special. Because we've never really had that dark, gritty take on the events and the war that happens during the events of 4, 5, and 6. This book really brings to light the chaos and the confusion sometimes of battle and how kind of terrible it is. Usually when you're on the outside looking in, you're seeing a lot of lasers firing everywhere, and you don't really get like a grasp fully of how it feels to be one of those soldiers in the trenches on Hoth, dealing with those huge walkers coming in and taking everyone out. It's a scary, scary situation to be in. And Twilight Company puts you in the shoes of those rebels. And that's why this book is really, really interesting. But like I said, it's a tough sell. Those 160 pages are so brutal, and the reason why, in my opinion, is largely due to how the structure of the story is, because this tale jumps periods in time for one of the characters. And not only that, but it also jumps character perspectives at times too, and sometimes very suddenly. The flow of the book is very inconsistent at first. However, like I said, when it has the gravitas of the events of the original trilogy really helping to take away, maybe provide a little bit of a crutch, I admit, the story, it allows the author to really focus on the characters. And after he starts relying on some of the events beforehand, he really gets to the heart of what these characters are and what they're out to do. And then the book really starts getting to you. It really got to me at the end, and I can honestly say that this is probably my third or second favorite right now. It floats between the two, because I really love Lords of the Sith, and that's my second right now. But keep in mind, nothing beats Lost Stars. If you haven't checked out that book, buy it immediately, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not. As for this one, this book is a recommended book for Star Wars fans, and I really think only fans alone. You really have to rely on the Star Wars universe to get you through those first 166 pages of the book. Because, like I said, it is a hard slog, but a great finish at the end. So I hope you guys liked this review, and I hope you found it really informative. Stay tuned for more, because I've got a lot more coming. I do books, movies, games, trying to do it all. But as it's a lot to cover, varies on the time. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.